No Child Left Behind did do some things right and some things wrong. First of all, No Child Left Behind, importantly, helped shine a spotlight on achievement gaps across the country for low-income kids and kids of color, and brought the nation's and states and communities' attention to those achievement gaps in a way that hadn't been done at national scale before. It was building on a lot of reforms at the state level across the country. It built on the Clinton ESEA work, but that was very important. Secondly, it made education a national priority. I think before No Child Left Behind, there was some debate about when education is a state and local responsibility, should it also be a national priority? I believe that No Child Left Behind helped settle the fact that education is a national priority, even though it's a state and local responsibility. On the other hand, there were some major flaws and drawbacks which we're still wrestling with today. The most significant flaw and drawback of No Child Left Behind is that it asks for tight means, as the Secretary of Education, Arnie Duncan, talks about, a lot of prescription around the specifics of accountability systems, of lots of details in very, very granular ways, but was loose on the end. And it basically let states, who then were going to be held accountable for how well they were doing improving low-achieving schools, lower the bar and set standards for achievement that really were extremely low, and essentially in part because of that, not only kids across the country and communities across the country have been lied to, that they actually are being told they're proficient on some fill-in-the-bubble standardized test, but they're not really prepared for readiness for college and careers. I think that's a big mistake that the president has been working to address. Also, there was a huge missing focus on incentivizing and supporting leaders who want to make the right change, as opposed to mandating a one-size-fits-all approach.
Terrific. Marty, from where you stand, two things got right, two things got wrong. Similar to John's or different?
Well, I certainly agree with John that one of the things that got right is that it called attention to the issue of student achievement levels. It provided much better information than we had ever had previously about achievement gaps, about the level of performance in different specific schools and of subgroups within those schools, and that's created a greater pressure for reform. I think it also, I guess the second thing that it did right is that it empowered local leaders who were willing to embrace it and wield it as a means to try and drive reform efforts that they were attempting to pursue in their districts nationwide. But I agree with John that it was much too prescriptive. In particular, it was much too prescriptive about the steps that need to be taken in terms of intervening in low-performing schools. As a result, all we've seen is a lot of compliance work where districts check off boxes to make sure they're complying with federal requirements, but actually don't engage in really efforts that hold out promise to actually improve the performance of schools. Secondly, I think that although it contributed by providing more information, the quality of the information it provides is too crude. And so John highlighted the issue of varying standards across states, which is an important one that needs to be addressed in some fashion. But the other thing it did is that it focused entirely on student achievement levels rather than growth in achievement. And so as a result, we got good information about the level at which students are performing, but much worse information about what schools and individual teachers are doing to contribute to student achievement progress. To reshift our focus of accountability efforts towards recognizing success and getting students from where they start to a higher level.